Hi everyone, I'm Adam Brady of Straight Blast Warrior JKD and RevisedReality.com. Welcome back to Kettlebell Basics. This is our third exercise. It's the get up, sometimes called the Turkish get up, but either way, the principle behind this exercise is to go from a lying position, carrying the kettlebell up to a standing position and then back down. It's a very, very powerful functional movement that allows you to work the hip placement and moving your body around the weight that is underneath your extended arm the whole time. It's a really great exercise. I absolutely love this one, and it has so many direct correlations and carryovers into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's just ridiculous. And I have to apologize for the vertical filming on this one because it's what allows you to see every portion of it, so you can get the floor as well as me making my way back up. So basically what's going to happen is you're going to start from a lying position and then extend your arms so you're carrying the weight of the kettlebell, and then through different steps you'll make your way up to standing, and then you'll reverse those steps and make your way back down. But before we go through that, before I even show you what to do with the kettlebell, I want to do what's called the naked get up. In other words, we're not going to carry any weight. And there are different versions of this. Some schools say you can rest a shoe right on top of your fist, or you can rest a cup of water, so you get used to the idea of balancing this as you get yourself up. I'm just going to show it with my hand so you can understand what's happening through this whole movement, and then I'll incorporate the kettlebell and show you as you make your way up and break down each of the steps and why it has so much functional carryover into Jiu-Jitsu for those of you that enjoy that. So basically, what we're doing is beginning in kind of a fetal position. We'll get the kettlebell back just a little bit closer here to the camera. We start in a position where we're facing the kettlebell on one side of us. So what we'll do is lie down on our sides, facing the kettlebell, and we'll eventually carry it from one side to the other. Now, what we'll do from here, the first step is to rock over completely onto our back, and we'll extend the opposite leg. So this is where the kettlebell would be carried, and the opposite arm is extended as well. So this is almost like a 45-degree. This foot that is on the same side as the kettlebell is planted down. This is what's going to be your hip drive. Now for this version, the arm's coming straight up. We're going to lock our fist, and then the first is to take a nice deep breath, and then we're going to drive off this foot. This is not a sit-up. You're not using your abs to pull yourself up. You're going to drive off to the side. So I'm lying completely on the side of my hip here. So what's happening? I'll take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, push off the foot to come up on my elbow here. So you see my arms extended, got the kettlebell up above me, I'm looking at it, nice straight fist. So this is up on my elbow. Next step, take another deep breath in, and as I exhale, I'm going to extend my arm to bring it up into what's called a tall sit. So I'm sitting up nice and tall here, still holding the kettlebell directly overhead. The next step, again, we'll take a breath and then we'll make the movement on the exhale, is what I like to call the leg hover. From here, just so you know, some people like to do a hip bridge. They kind of lift themselves up and go from there. I prefer just to hover my leg through because this is so similar to what we're doing in Jiu-Jitsu as you get up in base or as you move around. So basically what happens from here, looking up, my weight goes into my hand and into my foot so that my leg can become light and I can hover this straight through. Sorry, don't normally have a kettlebell right there. And I come up into this high lunge. And inhale, coming up to this lunge. I'll bring this foot around so I'm facing this same direction because I went from here, then I windshield wiper forward, arm out, take a deep breath in, and then we'll press up to standing into this position, locked out, and then we're going to reverse the whole thing. So inhale, exhale, foot comes back, and here we are reversing that windshield wiper. Gonna flipper my leg back around, like so. Hand will come down. Then I'll sweep the foot through, back down to here. Inhale, down to the elbow. Exhale, lower back down. And then if I had the kettlebell, I would use two hands to lower it back and then back over to our side. So a couple fine points it's really important to understand about this movement in particular, and that is the shoulder packing. So what I mean by that is whenever we're carrying the kettlebell from the very beginning, we want to have our shoulder packed. So that means that the shoulder is in the socket. It's not extending way out. So you see the difference here? Look at my arm. It's coming way out as opposed to this. where it's seated in its socket, deep in. That's where you have the power. If you allow this to come out, you leak power, and it's not safe for your shoulder at all. So you want to have this pulled back in. Same thing with the swing. You're swinging this way, you're not rounding your upper back and disconnecting your shoulder from the power chain. So you want to keep your shoulder packed at all times. And you're going to feel that it's kind of challenging in the beginning. As you get up, it's going to come out. So you have to set it back down and keep it there the whole time. So it's really important to understand this concept of packing the shoulder. So whenever you hear me say that, that's what I mean. Shoulder sitting back down in its socket. Another thing is the movement of our hips. Let me just move this out of the way here. As I'm down here, swiveling around, I go from one, press. So this is, for those of you who do jiu-jitsu, leg is right here. This is just like elbow escaping. It's the same movement. All the weight, instead of it being on my shoulder, is now on my hand, so that this can become light. It can hover straight through, back and forth. And that keeps this straight. Notice how I should have pretty much a straight line from my arm in the mat, the whole way up. I can bring myself up to this position. Now I'm a little bit off balance because I haven't swung my leg back around, so I swing it. Now I'm facing forward. Now I'm ready to go. Deep breath in, drive, come up. Lock everything out for just a moment. Deep breath in, and then we reverse it, coming back down, looking, swinging, foot, sweep through, back down, and lower here. When I bring the kettlebell down, from here, what we'll do is we'll do a little halo. Like when we travel the kettlebell around from one side to the other, we carry a little bit of the weight, so you just don't drag it over the mat or through your carpet or wherever you're at. And you just allow it to float from one side to the other. So I've just finished. Grab the kettlebell, kind of sweep it over to the other side, and now I'm ready for a rep on this side. What I like to do, personally, just how I do this, as I go from side to side, once I get over to this side, I do what I like to call a little hip hammock. So I get over here, and I just kind of swing a couple times. So my weight's on my shoulder and on my toes, just to reposition my hip. Again, another functional jiu-jitsu aspect of this is just getting your hips, moving them around a little bit. Last thing I want to mention before I put the weight on and show you the whole way through is what we would use as a drishti point. Now, drishti point is a concept from yoga. It's the focal point that you're looking at. So this is really that posture, breathing, and intent. What is your intention? Where are you looking as you do this movement? So as we begin our make our way up, we keep our eyes glued on the kettlebell the whole time. Because this thing is over your head. This is a 44-pound kettlebell. If I lose this, it's coming down into my grill. So I really need to say, where is this? Where am I starting to feel weak? Is it going to come down? What do I need to do to make sure I'm safe at all times? So my eyes are on the kettlebell the whole way up. Now, once I get up to this point and I'm ready to press, when I swivel this back, now I switch my look, my focus from the kettlebell here to straight ahead. Then I can drive, come up, looking straight ahead, good posture, good alignment, neutral spine, all that other stuff we've covered. And now I reverse it, inhale, exhale, back down, and then guess where my eyes go? Back to the kettlebell, swivel, hand comes down, sweep it through, down, lower, catch, and here we go. So keeping your eyes on the kettlebell, swiveling your hips, all these movements will become more intuitive as you do them. It takes some time to get used to them. There's no question about it, and you'll see once you start to become comfortable with this movement, getting up and off the ground will become so natural and intuitive. This is, again, jiu-jitsu. For those of us that train, the get up, how we get up in base, is basically built into this movement. When we get up, if somebody's attacking us, it comes back, that's the sweep through, and then we're up and standing. Same thing, hands come down, foot sweeps through. It's all this movement. Got the kettlebell here, it just adds to that and reinforces the hip swivel, the swing from side to side, all those bits and pieces that go with it. Okay, so that's the mechanical aspect of the get up. So I'm going to bring the kettlebell around to the other side. I'm going to do one on each side, and typically that's the way you would do it. You wouldn't necessarily do 5 reps on the left and then 5 reps on the right. You want to keep your body balanced because this uses a lot of shoulder strength. It's great for your shoulders, but to keep your body symmetrical as you go through, because it takes close to a minute if you're taking your time, and you want to take your time in this movement. This is a grind, so you don't want to rush. You're not trying to do get-ups for speed at all. This is a very mindful movement. To me, this is like Qigong or yoga with the kettlebell. Very, very mindful, deep breathing, focused awareness. Because, as I said, 35, 44, 53 pounds hanging over your head. If you're not paying attention, if you're not mindful of where that is, it can come down and hurt you. If it doesn't come down on you, it can come down this way. This is what we call broken arm position. Bad things can happen if you're not very mindful and paying attention as you go through these different exercises. So let me bring this around, dry myself off a little bit so I'm not quite so sweaty. And that's another thing, if you are somewhere where it's really hot and humid and you're sweating a lot, because even though this isn't a swing or a ballistic that gets you really, really huffing and puffing immediately, you will really start to raise your heart rate and you'll start to sweat a lot, and hanging on to the kettlebell is really important in this one, as you can imagine, so you don't want to let go of that. So make sure you dry yourself off, using, as you get to use heavier weights, using some chalk if you need to make sure that it absorbs any excess moisture so the thing doesn't slip through your hands. Different types of kettlebells, like these are E-coated, so they're a little bit easier to grip, but some of the other kettlebells, unfortunately, the cheaper they are, sometimes the cheaper the paint, and they're very, very slippery when they get wet. And they will get wet because of the humidity. So make sure that you get a kettlebell that you can hang on to, because that's another attribute of kettlebell training. It really builds your grip strength. And I should probably say, for the Turkish get-up in particular, you want to really grip that handle, crush it to the best of your ability. One more quick point about this. As we're carrying the kettlebell and bringing it up, you'll notice, as you're carrying it, you want to have a vertical line in your wrist. You don't want it to bend back this way, and you don't want it to go the other way. You want to keep it straight here as you're going up and down, so it rests cradled there. So I'm crushing the handle. That's what gives my forearm the strength and the stability to press it later, or to keep it locked out as you get up in that position. So be very mindful of your wrists. So with that in mind, the exercise that I often do to warm my hands and my forearms up before doing my get-ups is what I like to call owl pose. So coming down onto all fours, place both hands down onto the floor of the mat, and with the first hand, doesn't matter which one, you're going to rotate the fingers outward, around, and eventually bringing them back, pointing back towards your knee. Not everybody has this kind of mobility and flexibility, I get that. So just move wherever it's comfortable, but the further you get back here, the more you get this nice stretch on the inside of your forearm. And just keep one hand inverted while the other is here. You can rock a little bit, feel that nice stretch, opening up your forearm so it's got all the energy channels nice and strong. And then if you're able to, you can flip the other hand, keep both here, a little drift from side to side, and then unwind the first, unwind the second. Now you're all ready to go. Good strong grip, good wrist and forearm strength, so vital to this whole thing. So points to remember: packing the shoulder, breathing full and deep. I'll call out the breathing as I do it, you'll probably hear it as well. Looking at the kettlebell, swinging your hips through. All these things, all these micro movements all work together into one big package for the get up. And as you've seen, it carries over into so many different things. So let's do one on each side. You can see it, and then we can work out any remaining details that come to mind as I go here, but I just want you to see the whole thing with the kettlebell. But I really strongly recommend that you work it without any weight to begin with, to just get the feel of this movement, and then make your way up to using the kettlebell. Okay, lying down, kind of a fetal position here. Kettlebell off to your side, kind of like right by your head. Lie down on your side here. Grab the kettlebell, use two hands, roll over onto your back. Now, from here, you can press it up with one hand or with two hands. Whatever works best. In the beginning, until you build up that strength, be careful, because you're going to lock it out straight up over your head. So I like to use one hand. I've worked up to that, but if you need to use two, that's fine. When I come back down, I almost always use two. Okay, so I'm in this position, back is flat, deep breath in, press, lock it out, shoulder packed. Arm out to the side, leg out to the side, deep breath in, I rock the hip open just a bit, and then exhale, drive up to my elbow. Okay, check my position, eyes, bring this leg in just a little bit, deep breath in, up to the hand, and from here, getting ready to hover my leg through, deep inhale, on the exhale, post, swing it through. Okay, straightening up. Eye from the kettlebell, looking forward now. Get ready to press up. Inhale, exhale. Block it out, nice and strong. Everything powerful. Reverse, exhale down. Look up. Windshield wiper your rear leg back. Flip it over, hands come down. And sweep the leg through. Deep breath in, elbow. Exhale. Lower down, other hand, just to be safe. Lower it. Park it, roll over fetal position. Now we're gonna float it around, opposite side, park it near your head or your shoulder. Swivel your hips once or twice. Then you're in fetal position, all ready to go on this side. Okay, cradle it in, and by keeping your elbows tight, what you're doing, you don't have to work so hard to kind of pull it over. All you're doing is rolling over on your back and the weight comes along with you. Just roll over. Now this foot plants down, opposite leg flat. Knee, toes pointing out. Hand out to your side. Deep breath in. Take the kettlebell up. One or two hands, pack the shoulder. See, as I came up, it came out a little bit. Lower it back. Keep it in nice and tight. Inhale, hinge open. Exhale, drive up. Bring your other foot in. Get ready. Come up to the tall sit. Inhale. Exhale. Here we are. Up in tall sit. Inhale. Exhale. Hover leg through. High lunge. Swing your rear leg around. Balance yourself out. Inhale. Exhale. Drive up. Lock it out. Reverse. Stepping back. Look up. Swivel. Hand comes down. Bring the foot through. Exhale down to your elbow. Inhale. Nice strong core. Hand for stability. Lower it down. Over onto our side. And then swivel it back and around. Hip hammock once or twice. And there you go. That is the get up on the left and the right. You can do that for reps. Like the Strong First community has the Simple and Sinister program, 100 kettlebell swings and 10 Turkish get-ups. So you do your 100 swings and then you do 5 on each side, alternating left and right. That's the workout. And believe me, that's enough. It really builds your body up and helps you feel super strong as you go. Just a few last minute reminders. Grip the handle, pay attention as you go, move slowly, breathe deliberately, take your time. If you can't do this movement slowly, then you're doing it wrong. This is not something to be rushed. You need to take your time, be very careful and mindful, work without any weight in the beginning. Get used to that hand position. As you come up, something just to be aware of, where you want this hand behind you. And just like if you're doing the get up in jiu-jitsu, you don't want your hand to be too far behind you. You want a stable base here, because as you get further and further away, the leverage weakens. You want to have it right here so you can hover strong. If it's here, you're not going to be able to do it very well. So keep it right there, not too far back, too far away. It's this movement. And this is just a great movement right here. Some call it the sit through, but it's just getting up in base in jiu-jitsu, just having this hand here so you can hover this leg through and get that out of the way and come up into your next movement, coming to your knees, coming up from there. So it's a great, great, great functional movement. The more you do this, the more comfortable you become with the get up, with the weighted get up, the more easy just getting up will be. It's very natural and intuitive once you teach your body how it was meant to move. And that's what the get up does. All of the kettlebell movements teach your body what it already knows how to do, but we've just forgotten it because we've been carrying ourselves wrong for so long. So it unlocks so much power because it gets you back to that intuitive, natural way of moving your body. So that's the Turkish get up, or just the get up really. You can call it Turkish get up or the get up, whatever feels best for you, but it's a great exercise. Try it out. Work slowly, work at a good, comfortable pace. Be mindful of your shoulders. This does great things for your shoulders, but if you have any shoulder injury, take it really easy with this one because you are bracing and putting a lot of pressure onto that shoulder. Make sure that your hand is rotated in a good, safe, comfortable position, keeping the shoulder in the socket as you go. Breathe, move mindfully, take it easy, and you will reap incredible rewards from this simple yet profound exercise. That's the Get Up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be the clean.